Today we're going to continue reading in Moo. So follow along as I read. The farm. Out riding around on our bikes, Luke and I passed that farm nearly every day. On the gate was a blue and white sign, Birchmere Farm. I'd never been to a farm before our move to Maine, and I wasn't sure what I thought of this one at first. On sunny days, it looked inviting with its green pastures and its barns and cows dotting the hillsides and gathered in the pens. On the first rainy day, though, when Luke and I stopped by the fence, it looked muddy and sloppy and smelled of sawdust and manure. Flies dogged the animals and the stalls. Up close, the cows were thick and wide, with heads as big as kegs and black eyes the size of oranges and wide, sweaty nostrils, and they let out loud, low moos. They scared me, to tell the truth. So I want you to visualize right now what she thinks about the farm. Okay, and pause the video for a couple seconds and go ahead and write down what happened at the beginning of your retelling. So hit pause. A rotating group of teenagers showed up each day to work with the animals. Only a few adults were around driving tractors or trucks. We watched the teenagers fill feed bins and water buckets and climb fences and trot through sawdust and lean against cows. Luke often saw the grass and drew. His heroes now took on the look of farmers, brandishing halters and conquering giant cow-like creatures. The house on Twitch Street. Just before you reach the farm at the edge of town, at the edge of Twitch Street, was a tall, narrow house that tilted to one side. Thick, twisted vines crept up the side of the gray house, around doors and windows to the chimney top. The attic window was cracked and open, and from within you could hear the sound of a flute, high and light and gentle. Miss Falala lived in the house. Falala is how you say her name. Most people agreed she had a cow and a pig, but some said she also had a goat and an alligator and a bear. Some people said not to bother Miss Falala because she was old. Others said not to bother her because she made weird things happen. One day, our father took Luke and me to Mrs. Falala's house. Be respectful, my father said. No matter what you hear or see, be respectful to Miss Falala. An enormous golden cat fell straight down from a tree overhead, landing at our feet. The cat reared back on its hind legs and bared its teeth and claws, and out of its mouth came a menacing hiss. Our father ushered us up the walk. Pay no attention, he said. It's just a cat. A fat black hog lurched into view from behind the house and raced toward the cat, squealing all the while, the most unappealing squeal. Pay no attention, our father said, urging us toward the door. High above the open attic window floated the delicate melody of a flute, while behind us the hog chased the cat round and round the yard, and a bright green parrot perched on the porch and squawked at us as we climbed the steps to the door trimmed in vines. A sign on the door read, "Wrong door, go back." And so, dodging the hog and the cat under the watchful eyes of the bright green squawking parrot, we obeyed. A sign on the back door said, "Who are you?" So pause it here, and I want you to write what is happening next in the story, but I also want you to write, how do you think they feel right now? So pause the video. We looked at each other, me and my father and Luke. Luke said, "No way, not going in there. She'll probably chop us into pieces." My father said, "Be respectful." He knocked. Around the corner, hogs squeal and cat hiss. a face appeared at the window beside the door. A pale, thin, old, wrinkled face. The hog knocked Luke over, and the cat jumped on the hog's back. And as my father and I battled the hog and the cat, the door opened, and a long, pale, thin, old, wrinkled arm reached out and pulled my brother inside, and my father and I stumbled in after him. At the end of the long, thin arm was Miss Falala, clutching Luke and kicking the door shut. "You is leaving?" she asked. Her voice was unexpected, full of honey. "Is you?" My father stepped forward. Yes, we are. Leaving, yes." He handed her 2 books. "From my wife," he said. "She asked me to bring them to you. You met her apparently at the doctor's." Miss Falala closed one eye. "And where is she, this wife? Why she not bring? She is leaving?" Yes. She had an appointment today, but living. Yes, most certainly." Miss Falala studied the corners of the books. Down her back trailed a long white braid, which she flickered like a horse's tail. "Wrong books," she said. "Wrong?" Wrong. She pushed the books back to my father. She turned to me and Luke. "And who are you? And you?" When we told her our names, she tapped my forehead. "Is peculiar, no? This name, Rena?" Miss Falala caught me trying to peer around her into the room beyond. She kicked the door closed. "Is nothing. No go in there." I glanced at the ceiling, straining to hear the sound of the flute, and there was silence. "What you is looking at? Shoo, nothing here. Goodbye now, go home." As they left the house of Miss Falala, seagulls, white and gray, arrived one by one and perched on the ridge atop her house. Not just a few, first 10, then 20, then 30 or more, until they were lined up wing to wing, a row of feathered soldiers guarding her house, and the flute music, high and light, floated from the attic window. Okay, pause here, and I want you to tell what just happened in the next box. On Luke's arm, where Miss Falala had held him, was a pale blue mark in the shape of a leaf, and in the sky, 2 white clouds. Joined to form a flying girl, long white hair trailed behind. The hog and the cat and parrot were gone. I listened for them. What I heard was the faintest moo, moo. "Don't you touch me." Luke was not fond of animals. He kept his distance much as he did with people. His first spoken sentence was, "Don't you touch me." He said it to a lady in the post office who then looked offended. "I won't hurt you, cutie pie," the woman said. "Don't you touch me," my mother offered a weak, apologetic smile. Luke said it to the grocery clerk and an elderly man on the sidewalk and the doctor. "Don't you touch me." He'd point his finger in warning. My mother reasoned that Luke just did not like people getting in his face, pinching his cheeks, squeezing his chubby arms, telling him how cute he was. "Don't you touch me." Now that he was older, he rarely said, "Don't you touch me." More often, it was someone was swooping in too close, he'd scowl or run off or say something silly, like "nutto head" or "frog brain." "Funny little kid," people would say. When Miss Falala had snagged Luke's arm and pulled him inside, his reaction said it all. Wide open eyes, stiff arm and legs, fingers clenched like claws. Luke wrenched himself away from Miss Falala with the practiced skill of an escaped artist. I know he wanted to say, "Don't you touch me," but he didn't. That night in his yellow notebook, Luke's drawings included a skeletal towering figure with a snake braid and sharp metal claws surrounded by a pose of enormous hogs and menacing cats. So I want you to add to your last box and make a prediction of what you think will happen next.